Okay, before the camera ran out of memory, we had been working on this problem. We had substituted in 10 to figure out the y value of 45, and then we were given the y value of 13 and asked to find the x value. So we put 13 in the space for f of x, and we were solving 13 equals 7x minus 25. So we had started adding 25 to both sides, so we get 38 equals 7x, and then divide both sides by 7. And when you do that, it naturally creates that fraction of 38 divided by 7. So x is equal to 38 sevenths. So that not only gives us an x value, it also tells us that the ordered pair 38 sevenths, comma, 13 is also on the graph. And now it's on the screen. So let's look at a graphical piece and see how this function notation works if you're given a picture instead of an equation. So I'm going to start with a graph that looks like this. There's my x-axis, my y-axis, and get a scale on here, and we'll put this ordered pair here, this ordered pair here, got one here, here, here. Okay. Then we're going to ask you some questions like find f of 4. F of 4 means we are being asked what is the y value when x equals 4. Okay. That's the question that's being asked. So when we look at our graph, we're going to find where x equals 4 on our picture. So we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. At x equals 4, the y value on the picture is 2. So f of 4 would equal 2. Okay. Let's try another one. Find f of negative 2. F of negative 2 means that x is negative 2, and we're being asked to find the y value, f of negative 2. So we find negative 2 on the x value, we follow it up to our graph, and we see that the ordered pair is negative 2, 1, so f of negative 2 is equal to 1. Now this also works in reverse. I could ask you for the x value if I give you a y value. So let's look at one of those examples. Find x if f of x is equal to 2. That means the y value is 2, and we want to find the x values. So if we look at our y-axis, the y value of 2 is right here. So I want to find every point on this graph where y equals 2. There's one right here, 4, 2, and there's actually another one over here at negative 4, 2. So we have two places on this graph where the y value is 2. So x, when y is 2, would be at x equals negative 4 or x equals 4. So there's two places. We should probably look at another graph. And I will draw the graph and then label some ordered pairs on it. Actually, I'll probably start with my ordered pairs and then connect the dots. Here's my x-axis, y-axis. So I'm going to have negative 3, 3 will be on my graph. Negative 1, 1. Negative 4, 0. 1. Negative 1. 4, 1. And 5, 3. Okay. I'm going to connect my points. Zero, 0 is also on there. And we'll call that 7/2, 0. Okay. Now what questions can we ask here? Let's call this function g of x. Then I could ask you for g of different x values. So I could ask you, what is g of 5? G of 5 means that x equals 5, and we're being asked to find the y value. So when x is 5, the y value is 3. So g of 5 is 3. I could ask you, what is g of 0? G of 0 means the x value is 0, and they want to know the y value. So go to 0 on the x-axis right here, and the y value where that graph is also 0. So g of 0 is 0. How about g of negative 3? G of negative 3 means we're looking where the x value is negative 3, what is the height or the value of our function g of x? So I go to negative 3 on x, follow it up to where the graph would be, and that y value is 3. So g of negative 3 is 3. How about these? Find x when g of x equals 0. G of x equals 0 means that y is 0, and we need to find the x values. So y is 0 everywhere on this x-axis. So there's actually 1, 2, 3 x values where that happens. So x could equal, we'll go left to right, negative 4, or 0, or 7/2. So negative 4, 0, or 7/2. Let's try another one like that. They tend to be tricky. Find x when g of x equals 1, let's say. So we want to look at the graph. This means the y value is 1. So I'm looking everywhere that y is 1. So along that horizontal line, y equals 1. And we can see that that also happens at 3 places. This is not a nice value. Let's maybe call it, how about negative 3.9? Somewhere before negative 4. And then the ones that are labeled, x would be negative 1 when y is 1, and x would be 4 when y is 1. So negative 1 and 4. Let's try one that's a little bit easier to see on the graph. Find x when g of x equals 3. So we're going to look on your graph. When y is 3, what are the x values? So we're looking along that horizontal line, x equals 3. Excuse me, y equals 3. So we go up to 1, 2, 3 on the y-axis, We have that horizontal line, y equals 3, going right through there. So y would equal 3 at 2 x values, here at -3 on the x-axis, and here at 5 on the x-axis. So g of x equals 3 when x equals -3 or 5.